Right now, the trade skirmishes that we have with China, do you think that there is a resolution in the offing after the election, that something will get resolved?
I don't think there's a instant cure for the trade issue. I really don't. I wish that I could sit here and say, after the midterm elections, the White House and the administration understand they've got to solve trade issues. I think China would like to solve the trade issue. It really comes down to I would say there's two main topics. Topic number one, for some reason, is the side of the trade deficit. The actual trade deficit with China is about $300 billion net, and the president seems to think that number is way too large. I tend to differ with that. I tend to say that's $300 billion worth of goods that we're buying cheaper than we could produce ourselves, because if we could produce them cheaper, we would be doing that. So there's that issue. And then there is a more interesting issue that I think is more pertinent, which is the open access to Chinese markets and the enforcement of intellectual property, forced technology transfer, where the Chinese have historically not allowed U.S. companies into China and have not paid for much of the technology they've taken from the U.S. I think that is the bigger issue.
Right.
I think the Chinese would solve the first issue and buy a lot more natural LNG, natural gas from us, and more agricultural products and bring down the trade deficit, but it doesn't really solve the core issue, which is paying for intellectual property and respecting copyrights infringements.
Right.